what we've done is we've thought, well, what can the data analytics task force do about it? What can we do to make a difference in achieving net zero? Next. So our proposal is to use our collective superpowers, which I think the projects world and the people involved in data and data analytics have, to more effectively alleviate climate change. So it's something that we've now picked up and we're now looking at. Next. So the specific questions we'd like to talk about are, as professionals, what can we do in our own sphere of influence? So this is not from top down, this is not from middle down, this is from the bottom level up. What can you do as a project manager? You could be a head of projects, you could be a data analyst, you could be anyone involved in the change world. What can you do within your world? Next. How well are we doing and what can be done to make the biggest impact? So what is it that you could be doing more of? If you're given some information about where you sit in relation to other people, what changes would you make personally? Next. And what impact are the myriad of strategies around policies that exist? Andy has touched on a number of the things at a very strategic level that do exist, initiatives, policies, and so on, but what actual impact are they having on the ground? And we'll come to that as well. Individually and collectively, we believe that we have the answer. That's why something like a task force is set up, is to bring together collective energies of a number of people, the expertise and intellect. And we want to support you to make a difference. So this is not an initiative that is geared at a few, this is geared at the many. So next. So the first phase of what we'd like to do in advance of COP26, which is happening in November this year, is the basis of it is to stimulate and motivate you. The basis of that is a carbon self-evaluation. So it is a structure that will provide you with the information, will challenge you to think about within your own professional world, what is it that you are doing? So it may cover questions like, when justifying a project, is carbon taken into account? Is data collected on carbon as part of it, and is it reported on? What guidance support is provided in carbon? But we want to do it in a way that will stimulate and motivate you to look at changing your own behaviour and that possibly of your peers around you. We want to capture and share the wisdom that will also come. So we're going to be asking you about what are you actually doing apart from just answering this self-evaluation. We'll actually be asking people, what are you doing that you would class as good practice? What are you proud of? What do you think are the key areas that need to change? Next. And empower you through information. So the idea is to give you a report back. So it will be an online self-evaluation, and from that we can give you some insight about where you are and also empower you with some additional information and point you at things. You may want to consider this, you may want to look at that. Next. And as Andy has touched on, we want to use this to then prioritise the task force work streams. So where are the areas that we think need most work given the feedback that we're receiving? So it becomes a virtuous circle about the more information we get, the more geared we can, the more focus we can put in particular work streams. Next. So that is at a personal level, but with your support, we think we can actually impact the professions and also the sectors that we work in and you work in. Next. So leading up to and following COP26, because I must stress this is not just for the next few months, this is a long-term initiative as we see it. We think we can actually inform the profession. So the data that will come from the carbon self-evaluation will give us insights as to what is and isn't working and where particular hot spots or cold spots from each of the areas that we ask people about, and we can put that to the profession and say, should we not be doing something about this? Next. We believe that we can challenge the actual decision makers themselves, because this data will inform us as to what impact is happening on the ground from the strategies, initiatives, policies and so on that have been developed. So we can take that up to governmental level, to professional body level, and say you may have a policy of this, or you may have a strategy on that, but that is not impacting people on the ground. How can we make that more effective and do that? And next. And the idea is from all of this and from all the interaction, which I'll just touch on in a moment, we want to actually develop data-driven solutions. Now, Alex touched on that earlier about the things that can be created and provided to the profession that will help people to deal with the myriad of challenges that come from around climate change. Next. So how can you play a part? Next. You can provide your immediate feedback in the chat during the Q&A. So at the moment, if you would like to, until the end of the call, we would love to know what your absolute immediate thoughts are in hearing this presentation and what the task force is looking to focus on. So that's the first thing. And of course, you can put more thoughtful feedback later on as part of in the general feedback. Next, you can volunteer. As Andy said earlier, we do have an email address that is being looked at, and if you could put in there the grand idea or carbon or something similar in the title, if that's your particular area of interest and where you would really like to focus. Next, you can get involved and use your energy and superpowers. And I'll just, if you flick through the next few, Yoshi, just to give you an idea, we're going to help prioritize the work streams, get involved with the work streams, but also there are the hacks that Martin mentioned right at the very start. There are meetups and events. All of these, some of these images you may notice are when people used to be able to meet. All the virtual versions of these that are running at the moment. And there is intention to run a hack shortly on particularly climate change. And from that, as you will have seen in any of the hacks, they aim to form and create solutions. Using the data, we will take it to project meetups and so on. So there's a whole series of things. We're not intending to do this on our own, and we do hope to involve other professional bodies and groups to develop the carbon self-evaluation, to distribute it, and also to analyse and benefit from the data and share it and make a difference. So thank you.